As a beginner trader, there are plenty of things that you need to learn to get started with trading and be profitable in the markets. And usually, traders out there that teach you how to trade focus on the technical analysis of things because obviously technical analysis is important amongst other things, maybe fundamental analysis, maybe indicators. Then the beginner traders find a random strategy that they found online and try to apply it themselves, and they might find themselves failing over and over again and feel that this experience in the trading world is not enjoyable for them. And that is because you may not have asked yourselves what type of trader you want to be. So during this video, I will be discussing that the different types of traders, and I want you to ask yourselves what type of trader are you while is watching this video. So stay tuned for that. For this video, I'm going to be covering the four main types of traders out there, and I'm going to be covering the most popular ones that I feel people relate to the most, and I'm going to be covering them in order from the most short-term one to the longest term one, starting by the scalper. The scalper trader is focusing usually on the minute charts, so either the 1 minute, the 5 minute, 15 minute, maybe the 30th minute, but usually sticks around the 5 of the 15-minute charts and likes to take advantage of the most out of the market, taking positions in the short term. Maybe their position will take about maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, but won't be longer than that. It will take just a few hours to get their position done. And for example, I'm currently on the 5 minute chart, and you would expect a scalper to be, let's say, placing a position right here. Let's say I'll just put the position right here. They would be targeting, let's say, the previous low, something around this area right here. This move will take about an hour, so starting around 3 and ending around 4, so maybe an hour, maybe a bit more, but you get the idea of how this scalping works. And this works best if you want to be in and out of the market quickly, and if sounds something that you'll be interested in, you want to be a scalper. Moving on, we have the day trader or the intraday trader, which is essentially a trader that usually focuses on the hourly charts, so maybe the 1 hour, maybe the 4 hours, depending on who you ask, and their positions take a good few hours to finish. And this is what I usually trade with, and I'll give you an example of a trade that I took recently, and I did cover this in this video, in a different video, sorry, but I'll be covering that again because it's the most recent one that I've had. So for example, let's say I'm on the 1 hour, and the trade that I took was a short position, that is a long position, a short position around this candle right here. I can't remember exactly which one, targeting the previous lows. And this trade took me, it started on the 15th of May around 3 o'clock, and it ended, let's say, approximately uh, on 4 days later. So I think there was a weekend in between those, maybe not, but it took 4 days for it to close. It doesn't usually take that much. It depends on the trader. I like to hold my positions for as long as they require for the move to finish. My trade usually lasts about a day, maybe 2 days, and that's about it. This took a bit longer, but I usually trade around the hourly charts, so 1 hour or 4 hours. In this example, it's the 1 hour, and it might take a few hours, maybe it will take a bit longer. So if you want to be a bit more cautious and not be in and out of the market as quickly as possible and have other things to be doing, like me, so I like to place my position and just leave it there, do its thing, and get my profits once it reaches the take profit. I don't want to be constantly looking at charts, so I place my trade and be off my charts and do something else. So if you that sounds something that you'll be interested in, you might want to be looking at day trading. Then we have the swing trader. A swing trader is essentially a trader that mostly operates on the daily time frames. I'm not a swing trader, but I'll give you a brief summary of how a swing trade may look like. So on the daily chart, you might be looking at crazy positions, something like this. So uh, they have high risk to reward ratios, and they are in the markets for days, maybe weeks, maybe even a month, and they take long to close their positions. They are looking usually at great risk to reward ratios, and they are looking at swings in the market. So They are buying or selling at the edges of the market, or the essentially the tops and lows of the market, and expecting a full swing onto the other side. So that is where the name comes from. And usually they don't take many trades. They just take one trade, maybe a month, maybe two trades, depends on how you operate, and they leave the trade be there. So if you are someone that is busy, maybe you have a full-time job, you might be want to look at swing trading. I think swing trading can be very profitable for specific people that like these type of trades. So if this sounds something that you'll be interested in, have a look at swing trading online, and have more resources for you to have a look at. Lastly, we have the positional traders. A positional trader usually places a trade and leaves the trade running, maybe for months, maybe for years. And this is usually done on stocks and companies, for example, and not as often in pairs that I usually trade. So I don't really trade on Forex, but I do trade this way for my stocks account. So that is something that you may be having a look at. And usually you would be looking at a more fundamental side of things when it comes to positional trading. For example, if you're looking at, let's say, Tesla or a company that you like, and you're seeing a great future onto that company, you place a position for a buy and hold that for as long as you like, for until it reaches the price that you want. So it doesn't take as much technical analysis as much as fundamental analysis. So looking at, let's say, if you were to place on the euro in New Zealand dollar, you might be expecting, for example, euro to be going up in the next 2 years. So you place a buy order here and just leave it running forever, or for as long as you like, until you feel that the profits that you made is have been met. So the criteria that you set have been met and reached the price that you wanted, and get out of the trade eventually. So this is a very long term uh, kind of style, which is not ideal for me to be doing full time. So you just place a trade and leave it there. If you want to be a bit more active, you'll be looking at something else. If you want to be just looking at this, let's say, once a year, and never having to mind that again, positional trading might be for you. Okay, so these are the four main types of traders out there that I wanted to cover. If you have any questions about any of them, please comment below. And just to summarize each one of them, we have the short-term traders, who are called the scalpers, and usually look at the mini charts and looking at positions around a few minutes, maybe a few hours at most, and they get out of the trades, they get in and out of the markets quickly, and don't like to hold trades much longer. We have the intraday traders, or how they're called, day traders. Both names work, and they usually hold positions for a few hours, maybe a few days, but that's about it. They usually trade on the hourly charts, and this is how I usually trade, and how I think most people like to trade. But again, it depends on the trader. And then we have the swing trader, who like to capture big swings of the market from the highs and lows, and usually capture the supply and demand zones. And that's where they place a trade. They hold positions for a good few weeks, usually, maybe months, depending on the trade or the trader. And yeah, they usually like big risk to reward ratios, and they like to trade on the weekly or the daily charts, depending again on the trader. Then lastly, we have the positional trader, who usually hold positions indefinitely, depending on how they done the analysis. They usually depend on the fundamental analysis of things, and I usually would see it more often in stocks, and that's how I use positional trading, only for long-term stock positions. I don't usually do that for Forex, or I never do that for Forex or any other pairs. And yeah, these are the different types of investors, traders. There are more if you haven't related to any of them out there. So have a look at and do your own research for other types who are not as common as these ones. So if you haven't related to any one of these, have a look at more. And anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe onto the channel, and have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.